Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 9. We're going to explain about relative clause, non-clause, adjective clause. Relative clause, please, Vero.
Okay, thank you, Rusdi. So, relative clause is a sentence that is connected by a relative pronoun with another sentence. Usually, a relative clause is a sentence that previously had no relationship with the main sentence. However, the existence of a relative clause can be additional information on the previous sentence. To introduce relative clause, we use relative pronouns. The first one is who, is to describe people in subject. Second is whom, to describe people for object, and which, to describe things in the non-defining relative clauses, and that, to describe things in defining relative clauses. Next slide. There is the types of relative clause. The first one is defining relative clause. Defining relative clause is a relative clause which can provide additional explanation about the main sentence. So look at the example. Katie Bowman is a woman who captured the first black hole image. So Katie Bowman is a woman is a main sentence, and the who captured the first black hole image is additional explanation. Next slide. The second one is non-defining relative clause. Non-defining relative clause is just side information that is added to the main sentence. Look at the example. Hippopotamus, which are large and originate in Africa, can be found in zoos. Hippopotamus here is a main sentence, which are large and originate in Africa can be found in zoos. Is a non-defining relative clauses. Next slide. Next slide is non-clause will be presented by Rusdi.
Okay, thank you for the time, and then I'm going to explain about non-clause. Non-clause is a clause that functions as a noun and occupies a position as subject, object, or object of preposition in a complex sentence. The noun clause will act as an independent clause, while the other part will function as an independent clause or main sentence. For the example is, they finally bought the mountain bikes. It's a noun phrase. It's formed by independent clause, that is, they finally bought, and then added by dependent clause, what he want. Okay, next. The function and pattern. The first one is subject. It has a formula who or what plus verb plus object plus adverb. Who is for person and what is for non-person. For the example is, I know the boy, and he lost the case. If we merge those, it will be, I know who lost the case. Who lost the case is the noun clause. And then the second type is for the object. Its formula is whom or what plus subject plus verb and adverb. Whom is for person and what is for non-person. Example, everyone is curious about the girl, he falls in love. If we merge these two sentences, it will be everyone is curious about whom he falls in love with him. Okay, next. Number 3 is fact. The formula is that or the fact that plus subject plus verb. For the example, I remember that Eric ever told me. And then for the four types, it formula are 3W and 1H plus subject plus verb plus object. And this There are four kind of adverb: for time, for reason, place, and manner. For the example is, the day is Sunday. We will head to New York on the day. If we merge those two sentences, it will be, we will head to the New York is Sunday. Next, the types and the function. For the first one, noun clause can be used as a set statement. Noun clause that comes from a statement sentence begin with the conjunction that or the fact that. Both have the meaning that if this type is positioned as the sentence object, the conjunction may be reduced or removed. However, it is the subject reduction cannot be done. For the example is, he said that he would call me back. And for the statement is that he would call me back is still uncertain. The next. And then for the question. Noun clause can be formed from a question sentence. The type of question will determine the conjunction to use. In general, there are two questions, yes, no question, and WH question. Below are the type of question and their conjunction. For the example, first is yes, no question, using if or whether. Question, do you like cycling? For the noun clause is if whether you like cycling. The result of those sentence it will be, I wonder if or whether you like cycling. And then for the second example is from WH question, including who, whom, what, where, when, why, how. Question, how did you get there? Noun clause, how you got there. If we merge those two sentences, it will be how you got there. There surprises anyone. And three is subject or subjunctive. In English, a noun clause can take the form of a command, request, or subjunctive. It is characterized by a verb meaning command followed by the conjunction that and the infinitive verb. Example, he suggests I bring the map. And then the second question, the directors request that yearly report be finished in a week. And then for exclamation, noun clause can be used to express exclamation. To shout using noun clause, there are two conjunctions that can be used, namely what and how. For the example, for what example is using what plus a or n plus n or non pronoun plus s plus v. For the sentence is, he is a brilliant student. And then if we made it into a noun clause, it will be what a brilliant student he is. And then using how. By using how plus adjective or adjective, adverb plus subject plus verb plus V. For the sentence, he did well. For non-clause of those sentence, it will be how well he did. Okay, for the last segment is adjective clause will be delivered by Andini. Please time source.
Okay, thanks for the time. I will explain the adjective clause. First, general information. An adjective clause is a dependent clause that modifies a noun. It describes, identifies, or gives further information about a noun. An adjective clause is also called a relative clause. However, an adjective can also come in the form of an adjective clause. An adjective clause usually comes after the noun it modifies and is made up of several words, which, like all clause, will include a subject and a verb. Next. characteristic. First, adjective or relative clause serves to explain the noun and pronoun in a sentence. And the second, this adjective or relative clause cannot stand alone. It must be accompanied by a noun or pronoun to form new information. And the last, adjective or relative clause must be combined with relative pronoun, such as who, whom, whose, that, or which, and relative adverb when, where, or why. Next, the types. As a subject, the type was a subject, the adjective clause that modifies the noun. Who or that is the subject of the adjective clause. Example, I take the woman and she helped me because I take the woman who helped me. So I take the woman is an independent clause. She helped me changed into who helped me is an adjective clause. The adjective clause modifies the noun woman. Who used for people and that used for both people and things. Next, an object, the adjective clause that modifies the noun. Conjunction as object, whom, which, and that. Example, she is the woman and I told you about her because she is the woman whom or that I told you about. Whom is person and which non-person, that person or not person. Next, as a possessive, which is used to show possession, it carries the same meaning as other possessive pronouns used as adjective, which is connected to a noun. Example, I know the man and his bike was stolen because I know the man whose bike was stolen. Next, as a relative adverb of place. Relative adverb of place conjunction where, that, in, or, on, or at which. These conjunctions are used in adjective clause to modify a place. Example, the garden is beautiful and I meet my old friend there because the garden where I meet my old friends is beautiful. Next, as a relative adverb, time, the time. Relative adverb of time conjunction when, that, in, or on, or at which. These conjunctions are used in adjective clause to modify a noun of time, year, day, time, and century, and etc. Example, did you remember the time? And we went to Aini's party at 3 p.m. Because did you remember the time when we went to Aini's party? Next.
Okay, that's all from us. Thanks for your consideration. For further information, you can read the paper that we already sent. If you have any question, you can ask in WAQ10. If there are any mistake or misspelled, please accept or apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.